Good morning, students. We will continue today business services. This is the very important chapter of business studies. The today's first topic is communication service. Business does not exist in isolation. It has to communicate with others for transmission of ideas and information. And the second point is communication services need to be very efficient, accurate and fast for them to be effective. In this fast moving and competitive world, it is essential to have advanced technology for quick. And the next point is exchange of information should be there. The electronic media is mainly responsible for this transformation, and the main service which helps business can be classified into postal and telecom. So we will learn something about postal services. Indian Post and Telegraph Department provides various postal services across India. The next point is through their regional and divisional level arrangement to various facilities provides by postal departments and broadly categorized into the first one is financial facilities. These facilities are provided through the post office savings schemes like public provident funds, that is called PPF, Kisan Vikas Patra, and national savings certificates. Most popular certificates these are. And the next point is mail facilities. Mail services consists of parcel facilities, that is transmission of articles from one place to another, registration facilities to provide security the transmitted articles, and insurance facilities to provide insurance cover for all risk in the course of transmission by post. And the next point is allied facilities, greeting post, media post, international money transfer, speed post, passport facilities, e-bill, etc. Now we will understand about telecom service. World class telecommunications infrastructure is the key to rapid economic and social development of the country. Types of telecom services are cellular mobile service. These are all types of mobile telecom services including voice and non-voice messages, data services and PCO services utilizing any type of network equipment with their service area. The next point is fixed line services. These are all type of fixed services including voice and non-voice messages and data services to establish linkage for distance traffics. These utilizes any type of network requirement preliminary connected through fiber optic cables. The next point is cable services. These are the linkage and switched services with a licensed area of operation to operate media services, which are essentially one-way entertainment related services. And the next VSAT service. VSAT, very small aperture terminal. It is a satellite based communication service. It offers businesses and government agencies a highly flexible and reliable communication solution in both urban and rural areas. DTS service, direct to home, is again in satellite based media services provided by cellular companies. One can receive media service directly through a satellite with the help of a small dish antenna and a set-top box. Next service is transportation. Transportation comprises freight services together with the supporting and auxiliary services by all modes of transportation, that is rail, road, air, and C for the movement of goods and international carriage of passengers. The next point is transportation removes the hindrance of place, that is, it makes goods available to the customer from place of production. The next point is both government and industry need to be productive and view the effective function of this service as a necessity of providing lifeline to business services. The next service is warehousing. Storage has always been an important aspect of economic development. The warehouse was initially viewed as a static unit for keeping and storing goods in a scientific and systematic manner so as to maintain their original quality, value, usefulness. The next point of warehouses is warehouses have ceased to be a mere storage service providers and have really become logistics service providers in a cost efficient manner. And the last point of warehousing, this makes available the right quality and the right place in the right time in the right physical form at the right cost. Now we will differentiate between different type of warehouse: private warehouse, public warehouse, bonded warehouse, government warehouse, and cooperative warehouse. The first one is private warehouse are operated owned of a lessed by a company handling their own goods such as retail chain stores or multi-brand multi-product companies. And in private warehouse, the benefit of private warehouse includes control, flexibility, and other benefits like improved detail relations. And public warehouses can be used for storage for goods by traders, manufacturers, or any member of the public after the payment of a storage fee or charges. The government regulates the operation of these warehouses by issuing license, and benefits include flexibility in the number of location, no fixed cost, and capability of offering the value added service like packaging and labeling. Bonded warehouse are licensed by the government to accept import goods prior to payment of tax and custom duties. These are goods which are imported from other countries. Importers are not permitted to remove goods from the docks or the airport till custom duty is paid. Now we will see government warehouse. These warehouses are fully owned and managed by the government. The government manages them through organization set up in the public sector. Now we will see the cooperative warehouses. Some marketing cooperative societies or agricultural cooperative societies have set up their own warehouses for members of their cooperative society. Now we will understand the functions of warehousing. The number one is consolidation. The warehouse receives and consolidates materials, goods from different productions plants and dispatches the same to particular customers on a single transportation shipment. And the second point is break in the bulk. The warehouse performs the function of dividing the bulk quantity of goods received from the production plants into the small quantity. These smaller quantities are then transported according to the requirement of client to their places of business. The third point is stockpiling. The next function of warehousing is the seasonal storage of goods to select business. Goods or raw materials which are not required immediately for the sale or manufacturing are stored in warehouses. They are made available to business depending on customers' demand. The next point is value added services. Certain value added services are also provided by the warehouses, such as in transit, mixing, packaging, and labeling. Goods sometimes need to opened and packaged and labeled again at the time of inspection by the prospective buyers. The next point is price stabilization. By adjusting the supply of goods with the demand situation, warehousing performs the function of stabilizing prices. Thus, prices are controlled when supply is increasing and demand is slack, and vice versa. The next point is financing. Warehouse owners advance money to the owners on security of goods and further supply goods on credit terms to customers. Now we will understand the difference between life insurance, fire insurance, and marine insurance. We have already learned about all these insurance earlier. The subject matter. The subject matter of insurance is human life. In fire insurance, the subject matter and physical property or assets, and marine insurance, the subject matter is ship, cargo, or freight. Now the next point is element. Life insurance has two element of protection and investment or both. Fire insurance has only the element of protection and not the element of investment, and marine insurance has only the element of protection. The next point is insurable interest. Insurable interest must be present at the time of offering the policy, but need not be necessary at the time when the claim falls due. And fire insurance interest on the subject matter must be present both at the time of effecting policy as well as when the claim falls due. And in marine insurance, insurable interest must be present at the time when the claim falls due or the time of the loss only. The next point is duration. Life insurance policy usually exceeds a year and is taken for longer period ranging from 5 to 30 years or whole life. And fire insurance policy usually does not exceed a year, and marine insurance policy is for one or period of voyage or mixed. The last point is identity. Life insurance is not based on the principle of identity. The sum assured is paid either on the happening of certain event or on maturity of the policy. Fire insurance is a contract of identity. The insured can claim only on the actual amount or loss from the insurer. The loss due to the fire is indemnified subject to the. Next point of marine insurance is a contract indemnity. The insured can claim the market value of the destroyed at sea and the loss will be identified. The next point is loss measurement. Loss is not measurable. Loss is measurable in fire insurance, and in marine insurance loss is measurable. Surrender value or paid up value. Life insurance policy has a surrender value or paid up value. Fire insurance does not have any surrender value or paid up value, and marine insurance does not have any surrender value or paid up value. Policy amount. one can insure for any amount in life insurance. In fire insurance, the amount of policy cannot be more than the value of the subject matter. And in marine insurance, the amount of the policy can be the market value of the ship or cargo. Contingency of risk. There is an element of certainty. The event, that is death of maturity or policy, is bound to happen, therefore a claim will be present. And in fire insurance, the event, that is destruction by fire, may not happen. There is an element of uncertainty and there may be no claim. And in marine insurance, the event, that is loss at sea, may not occur and there may be no claim. There is an element of uncertainty. Thank you.